We're doing an
Hi,
intro?
hi everybody. This is Sandy Sandler in the background, and we have Alex in the background filming, and we have Nick who's gonna do an amazing live for us. So I just can't wait to see what Nick shows us.
Thank you, Sandy. Yes, I'm Nick Kreticos. I'm Nick Kreticos of Nick Seasonal Decor. I always have to do my full name. Alex is behind the camera tonight. Last time we saw you guys, it was almost the end of July, the second to last Monday. So I hope everybody had a great remainder of July. And it is August, which is kind of crazy to me. I mean, it's just crazy how fast this year flew by. But we have a lot of bows to catch you up on. We're going to do a mixture of fall. I think we're going to intermingle one Halloween and then I think we're going to do one navy blue snowflake Christmas ribbon, which is going to be very pretty. So all of the supplies from the Bowdabras to the ribbons to the Bowdabra wire can be found at nickseasonaldecor.com. To the left of me or the right of you, this is the large Bowdabra. And then we have the mini Bowdabra. So we started carrying the mini Bowdabra on our website. Was it this year? Early this year?
Yeah.
Which was a nice addition. I really love it. And we also carry the silver and gold wire. So the wire comes in a 100-yard spool, and we made the switch to gold 2 months ago now, Alex. I
Yeah.
think 2 months ago, and it's going to last us well through the year. So a little goes a long way, and I'm rather wasteful for it or with it. So if I'm wasteful and it still lasts me upwards of 8-9 months, it'll last you guys really long if you're not wasting it. So I just cut a random length. I usually like it to be about 20 to 24 inches on either side. That gives me the ability to tie this into whatever I decide to work it into, whether it be a swag, a wreath, you name it. You always want to leave yourself a little bit of extra room instead of having to cut into another wire. So we're going to start with our large Bowdabra. The thing you just saw me remove is the Bowdabra wand, and of course it says it right on it. And this is used to compress your ribbons. So you can just place this inside and compress your ribbons. I typically just use my hands, and you guys are going to see that throughout this video. Hey Rose, hey Marianne. Okay, so another thing too is if you're watching this video, if you're watching the replay, do me a huge favor and let me know that you're here. I really appreciate when you guys come back and watch at a later point. So you can do a couple of different things. You can do hashtag replay, or if you're a ghost watcher, which means you watch my videos but might not comment a whole lot, do me a favor. And a lot of you guys have been doing like ghost emojis or a silent watcher or whatever, you name it. But if you're watching live, you can win a free roll of scrunchy ribbon. So they will ship out the beginning of September. Sandy is actually away. So the color choices are red, silver, and gold. For me right now, I'm on a silver kick. I mean, even though we're using gold and gold ribbon and gold wire, but I would choose silver. So I'm curious to know what color you would choose. So I cut a length of tails. These are about 16 inches on either side. One important thing I want to tell you guys, or one thing that's not as important, is the length. Here I just pulled one to the other side, so one's longer than the other. I prefer it to be off balance like that. I think it creates a really pretty look. You, of course, can keep them the same length. I just prefer to have them a little bit off. So you don't have to be as particular and perfect with your measurements as you may think. Hey, Charlene. Charlene's from Kentucky. Yes, let me know where you're from. We are actually filming here in Massachusetts. Our warehouse is located in New Hampshire, but I'm curious to know how many of you guys live in the States or even outside the States. So now it's time to create the main portion of our bow. So I'm going to take our ribbon and I'm going to just fold it in half and work it into the Bowdabra. Something really important to take note is that I'm leaving about ½ an inch of an overhang. And the reason I do that is if I sat there and I really placed it perfectly, when it comes time to fluff, no matter how tight you get that wire, you can easily slip that out. So always leave yourself a little bit of wiggle room to prevent that from happening. Hey, Patty. We'll be seeing Patty in date night in the Wreath community in a few short minutes.
Yes.
And I see we have a bunch of Wreath community members. Hey, Michelle. Donna's here. Then we created our first loop, but when I'm creating my loops on my Bowdabra, I like to rotate my Bowdabra. I find it easier to do that than rotate my hands in the ribbon. And then another thing I'm doing is I'm rotating the ribbon itself. So I'm taking it, I'm pinching it in the middle, and I'm twisting it so the back side is facing forward. With a ribbon like this, which is the same on either side, it's really not noticeable. And the reason I do that is it just seems to create a stronger hold right in the middle. Judy's from
I also
Delaware.
find it shapes better.
Absolutely, yes. And I see Donna is from Montana, and that is something we talked about yesterday. Me and Alex would love to visit Montana. And Sandy actually just sent us a beautiful picture of Colorado, so it looks like Colorado is on our list as well. So we don't have those beautiful sceneries unless it's fall. We got the fall with the leaves, but other than that, it's not as exciting. So we're going to take it and create as many loops as we would like. With this being, I think this is a universal ribbon. I think this would work for year round, and I also think it's perfect for fall and Christmas. So, you know, multiple season ribbons are great, especially for those of you that might be on a budget or don't have a whole lot of space, because you can use one roll of ribbon for many different purposes. So with this time of year, I like to work in more loops. So I'm going to show you guys how to create 2 bows using this roll. And being a 50-yard spool, whether you get them from Sam's Club, us, you name it, wherever you get them, it's the most bang for your buck because you're getting a lot of ribbon and you can make a whole lot of bows. So I have 4 on that side. Here's 5 on this side. And we'll do one more. I'm just going to snip it off and work in our final loop. Like that.
I love the shimmer on this ribbon. It's so pretty.
Me too. And I'm going to just trim off a little bit of that excess. Well, it's very subtle. You know, it's not super sparkly and shiny. And the best part about this, Alex, is can you guess what it doesn't have?
Glitter.
Glitter. Most of you guys know by now I hate getting covered in glitter, and it seems to happen every day, no matter how much I try to fight it. So then I just took the wire, folded it through, and I'm going to show you that on the next bow, so stick around. I'm going to take that wire, pull it to the back, and I'm going to give it 3 knots. 3 knots ensures that it's not going anywhere and your bow is not going to fall apart. Hey, Jen, Kathy's here. Both Jen and Kathy are Wreath community members. Hey, Paula. Now I'm going to snip off that wire. This is what you would attach to your wreath, your swag, you name it. But for my sake, I'm going to be sending these pictures to Bowdabra, and I don't want to be able to see the wire once the bow is all fluffed out. So that's how the bow looks. Nothing special at this point in time, and now we're going to bring it to life. Hey, Lois, thank you for sharing, Lois. Yes, for those of you tuning in, if you don't mind hitting that share button, it helps us reach a larger audience, and at the same time, helps us inspire and teach others how to make a bow. So if I've taught you something over the years, we can do the same thing for somebody else. But also, too, let me know if I've taught you something, right? All right, pull apart those loops, pull apart those tails, and look at how beautiful that bow is.
That came out really beautiful. And the little piece in the middle almost looks like a flower.
Yeah, it kind of does scrunched up like that. So there is bow number 1. Show some hearts if you guys like this. Hey, Melissa. Darlena's from West Virginia. Yeah, as you come in, let us know where you're from, and you can win a free roll of scrunchy ribbon. So one reason I really like using the same ribbons, even though we have so many different choices, is because it shows you guys different examples of creating a completely different looking bow using the same ribbon. So I know a lot of people struggle with creativity, and one easy thing is just those minuscule changes, changing the technique, adding one ribbon, removing one ribbon. It really can do wonders for changing the entire look and aesthetic of your bow and design. So then I just took my wire, placed it in the middle, and then I tuck it underneath. The reason I tuck it underneath is because I rotate my Bowdabra, as you saw, and it gets it out of the way. It keeps it from getting snagged and, you know, pulled out from inside the Bowdabra. So next bow, should we do a little how? Oh, no, we're going to do this. I just talked about what we're going to do. So we're going to take this ribbon again. In this technique, there's 2 different ways you can do it. You can have these pieces cut in advance, and I'll do one to show you. So we can take our tail, cut it in advance, and dovetail. So to dovetail, take your tails, fold them in half, place one on top of the other one, so you can do 2 at the same time. Cut from the middle towards the outside edge, and see how much better that looks. So how many of you guys are dovetailing your bows? You better be. Hey, Maggie. Then what you can do is you can take this bow, Cindy's here, create about 4.5-inch loop. We're creating an awareness ribbon, and you can also have this pre-fluff. So as you guys saw, I just opened up those tails. In the end, what ends up happening is it just makes it a little bit easier to fluff, and we don't have to stress about, you know, pulling the tails and the loops so perfectly. It's already kind of done for you. Then we're going to take that and place it inside of our Bowdabra, and you can fluff it again if you want. Another way of doing this is to take your ribbon, place it in your Bowdabra, create your first loop or your first tail, create your loop, and then cut off your second tail. So it just depends on what look you're going for. And you see, we have over 103 live viewers. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to let us know where you're from, and you can win a free roll of ribbon, which will ship out early September. So I prefer to keep my ribbon on the roll, but if you want to have them perfectly pre-cut, measured, and make the job a little bit easier, you can sit on the couch and just have these all pre-cut and pre-dovetailed and not have to deal with any of that as you go.
Yeah, Janet said she has the Bowdabra that came with the VHS tape and it still works. And that's the thing, Janet, the Bowdabra lasts forever.
And I can't believe I just saw a VHS tape. Are you kidding? Wow.
Yeah.
So they do last a very, very long time. And I still have my original one that I got probably in 2011 or 12 or so, a long, long time ago. I was, I don't know, 13 then. So it's been a long time and it's still holding up. And I put that thing through a lot of stress at Christmas time. So we're going to do one or two more loops. The more loops you have, the more tails you're going to have, but also the fuller your bow is going to be. So it really does depend on which way you want to, how you want the bow to look in the end. If you want a lot of loops and have something super full, add more. If you don't, work in less. And the best thing I can give you, a little tip, is the more you practice with ribbon, the more bows you make, the easier and more comfortable and more confident you'll be making those decisions as to how many loops and tails you'll need. All right, now we're going to take those wires out, and I told you I'd show you. Sandy's from New Hampshire. We're going to take that cut end, since we folded it in half, pull it through the loop, and that will keep it semi-permanent.
And what
Now we're
I
going to
love
take
about
that
this
wire.
bow, Nick, what I love about this bow is it's a great way to use your scrap ribbon.
Exactly. So if you only have a couple of feet of each ribbons, I mean, you can work in as many ribbons you want as long as they look good together, right? You don't want to make it too busy. But if you have a bunch of miscellaneous leftover scraps or little pieces off a spool and you want to use them up, you don't want to be wasteful. I don't like wasting anything. Put them into a bowl like this. All you really need is one piece of each. You can do this technique with 5 ribbons, one piece each. All you need is about 20 inches of ribbon. And when you get to that little amount on a roll, there's not much you can do with it outside of creating a bow like this, right? I mean, you can add a little embellishment to something, but you're not able to create a full-size bow with a 20-inch piece of ribbon. But if you have a bunch of them, you can put them to use. So dovetailing those real quick, it does make it easier if you do it in advance, but as you can see, it doesn't take too much time. And I think they are all dovetailed. Probably missed one though, right? That seems to always happen.
I was just double checking. I was like, he's got to have missed one. Nope, looks good.
Donna loves her Bowdabra, but she is still learning. Thank you for teaching us. Thank you, Donna. And yeah, let me know down below or by a show of hearts, how many of you guys have learned something, whether this is your first time watching me, let me know that as well. I have a lot of questions for everybody, it seems like tonight. But let me know if I've taught you something. So my goal with these videos is to make you more of a confident designer and bow maker. So you don't have to stress as much as I did when I first started. So all I'm doing is I'm pulling apart those tails, those loops, making sure it looks as pretty as we can get it. And I mean, that already looks very, very pretty. Look at that.
I love this.
Isn't that a pretty bow?
It's so fluffy.
And if you end up having a tail too long, you can trim it up. It's always easier and better to have longer pieces of ribbon and waste a little bit than have a bow too small for the project you're creating. So there is the second technique using the same roll of ribbon and a completely different look. So mixing it up, you don't even have to change out the ribbons. You can use the same ribbons you might have at home and just switch out the technique. Or you could also work in a secondary ribbon with this and create a completely different looking bow. Deborah said, I taught her that it doesn't have to be perfect. Deborah, that is music to my ears, my friend. It's the truth. You don't need to be perfect. And the more you stress about being perfect, the more you'll drive yourself crazy. So now we're going to switch gears and use our mini Bowdabra. Hey, Julie. Wow, everybody is a Wreath community member tonight. So I'll see you guys at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. So we're going to take our wire. This one's a long piece, but if you wanted to work this into like a tree, sometimes it's better to have a longer piece because then you can kind of just scrunch it up and not have to worry about, finding the ends, right? So we're going to take that wire, tuck it inside of our mini Bowdabra, and we're going to use, let's do candy corn. So a mixture of fall, Halloween, and Christmas tonight. So here's our candy corn ribbon, and I love it because I think it's very whimsical. And I'm going to show you guys a whimsical bow technique. So this bow technique, you can create flowers using it. You can create, like little, what are those little things that go on a shirt? Like a brooch? You can use it as like a brooch.
Yeah.
Alex is looking at me. She's like, what are you
I was
talking
like,
about?
what?
You could use it as a brooch. You could put it in your hair. You could put it on your tree. You could put it on your banister, up and down your stairs, you name it. But I'm just cutting
Well,
random lengths of.
Nick, you always say, I'm sorry, you always say that you don't make hair bows, but this is like a spiky hair bow.
Exactly. And it can be depending on, scale. So if you have a big head, make a big hair bow. If you have a small head, I mean, this hair bow would probably be perfect for me. This is going to be a big bow. So I'm just cutting a bunch of random lengths. The more the merrier, the more different they are too, the better I found over the years. So that seems to be good for me. Now what we're going to do is isn't it cute? Yeah, let us know where you're from. Don't forget, Bowdabra will be giving away a free roll of scrunchy ribbon tonight. And all you got to do is let us know where you're from.
Donna
So
says she
dovetail
didn't
these real
know
quick.
that there's a, I was going to say, Donna said she didn't know there was a mini. And Donna, the mini is so great for smaller projects, or because you can make big bows in the mini, just not
Absolutely,
huge bows.
you can. All right, looks like I dovetailed the big one. So now look at all these little dovetails. And I'm sure somebody out there can figure out what to do with these. But we're going to take the longest ones. We always want to start with the biggest ones. All we're going to do is just place them in. There's no twisting, there's no bending, nothing special. Take them in, and then we kind of gradually get to the smallest. Doesn't have to be perfect. Stephanie loves hers. She has the regular and the mini and use both all the time. Awesome. I'm going to take a few more. Couple more. And as you can see, this is like 10 pieces of ribbon. So the mini does hold a lot of ribbon, but if you're creating really big bows, the large Bowdabra does seem to work the best, but this thing only is like $11.99 or so, so it's not bad.
And Nick just recently started using the mini. He's always used the larger Bowdabra, but I mean, you make the same bows in the mini, and you can find both sizes and the wire at nickseasonaldecor.com.
So I was pleasantly surprised the first time I ever used it, which probably isn't something that I should say on a live, but the first time I ever used it was on a live here in Bowdabra, and the technique is the exact same. The principles are the same. So if you have the large and you've used it, there's nothing different about the mini besides it being mini. So I was really happy to see that and find that out. It could have went sour if it was different, but very, very similar. There's really no difference, although you can make much smaller, finer detailed bows using it. So now we're going to just fluff out all of these tails. And how pretty is this bow technique?
So cute.
So Sandra has the regular and she used it today to make a big bow. Yeah, Sandra, make sure to share pictures. So if you guys haven't joined the Bowdabra fan gallery or the Nick Seasonal Decor crafting community, make sure to do so. We would love to see what you guys create. How cute is that?
So cute. And for the 4th of July, we did these and they looked like sparklers.
Yeah,
Remember?
we did red, white, and blue, and we talked about how you can glue a stick to it and use it as like a pick in containers and your wreath, you name it. And you could do like little star ribbon, which would be cute. So that is that bow technique. And I think we have time to make our bow for our wreath. So we're going to switch gears and use our large Bowdabra again. We're going to cut a length of wire. Love that style? Yeah, give it a shot, Donna. If you haven't tried it yet, you guys, it's so easy, and I think it turns out really cute. So maybe next month, if you guys want to see, and let me know down below if you do, I'm thinking what we can do is try doing some poinsettias again. We did that last year, but it's never too early to start. I know a lot of you guys are ready for Christmas. I am, but I know not everybody is. So let me know if you guys want to see us create a poinsettia. But now we're using one of my favorites. This is a 7/8 inch ribbon. It's one of my new favorite sizes. You're able to create a lot of things to scale, no matter how big or small your project is. So we're going to take our ribbon upside down. Hey, Marianne from Jersey. We're going to create a bunch of loops. Mary says, that's a cute bow. I have to try that. Yes, Mary, give it a shot. So this technique is the traditional technique. So it's the same technique that I taught you in the beginning of this video. The only difference being is that it's a more narrow ribbon. So there's no difference in technique or principles or working it in. The only thing to consider is the more loops you have, it's going to take more loops to get the effect that you have with the other bow. But as I mentioned before, you don't need a lot of loops to create a beautiful design or a beautiful bow. Sometimes I like less loops to work in some greenery or some flowers, which I seem to really like. Don't you like that look too, Alex?
Yeah, I do.
Donna said, please do poinsettia. Kathy's ready for the poinsettias. All right.
You know, Nick, how you turn, Joette has a lazy Susan that she puts her Bowdabra on to turn it.
Does she? Joette's one step ahead of me, it looks like, which is very smart. So like I say to you guys, the way I'm using my Bowdabra might not work for you, but you don't know until you try. There's been so many circumstances with designing and teaching where I don't know if something's going to work until I give it a shot. And then it works out. Not always, but a lot of the times it does. So give things a shot. If you haven't mastered bow making yet on your Bowdabra, try rotating it like I do and see if it makes more sense or makes it easier for you. Now we're going to tie it off in the middle. Yeah, Lazy Susan is a great idea. I know I bought one, but I bought like a cheap one from Amazon, and I don't even think I used it once because I put it on my table, you guys, and it just squeaked the entire time. So as soon as I heard that squeak, I was like, I don't think I can use this. I mean, come on, you guys. Can you imagine me going live, trying to talk, and you just have a squeaky Lazy Susan? So we're going to take our bow. This is an 18-inch oval grapevine, and the oval creates a really unique look, so I'm a huge fan of it. We're going to take our wires, pull them around the back to the front, and we're going to tie our bow in the lower left-hand corner. 3 knots again to ensure it's not going anywhere. Yeah, you want to see the poinsettia? I got to do it. We'll do it next month, you guys. And then, by a show of hearts, how many of you guys want to see some tree topper tutorials? So tree toppers don't have to be just for Christmas, right? People decorate Christmas trees for year round. We did a fall tree last year. I want to do a Halloween tree this year. I'm not sure if we're going to get around to it. Maybe Alex can do a Halloween tree.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
That does sound fun. But, you know, you could put a tree topper on any style. 4th of July, you could do a big sparkler bow, red, white, and blue. So there is the bow all fluffed out. And you see how it's the same technique, but a completely different look because the ribbon's more narrow. There we go. Now it's time to work in some fall products.
Julie says she's never seen a tree topper tutorial. Julie, on our YouTube channel, which is at Bowdabra on YouTube, we have over 900 videos, and there's quite a few tree topper tutorials in there.
Sandy has trees year round. All right, so now we're going to work in this asparagus fern. And Alex, haven't I just loved this taupe beige cream color the last few months? It's been so popular, and it seems like you guys really like it too. It just matches the ribbon that I just used. That matches great too. But it's a really popular color for fall. So if you haven't tried working this in either your home decor, if it's something you like, or for those of you that have businesses, I know a lot of you guys out there do, try doing it. Try working in this color. It's a very pretty neutral, and a lot of people seem to enjoy it. So let me know if you guys like this color too. We are going to work in some pumpkins and a little bit more fall foliage, but it's still a pretty accent. So I'm just taking that greenery and just poking it throughout. Jeannie said, yes, tree topper. Yeah, we'll do one next month. So we will be live here next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, which is 5 Pacific? 5 Pacific.
No, 4 Pacific.
4 Pacific.
5 Mountain.
5 Mountain. And then next month, we will be live the last 2 Mondays, which I don't know the dates on, through the year. So unless something changes, we'll keep you in the loop. But the last 2 Mondays of each month through the year. And then other than that, Sandy and Joe will be your guests or your hosts, designing, their own techniques. We all have different styles, you guys. And I think that's really what makes designing and crafting fun, is that we all have such different styles and techniques and color combos and ideas. We all can kind of steal from one another. All right. So there is that.
I call it forging, Nick.
Foraging. I love that. Now we're going to take our final piece. And look at how pretty that already looks with just a little bit of greenery. And we could stop there. If you wanted to work in some pampas, we have a really pretty neutral pampas. That would be very pretty and very trendy too.
So pretty.
But we have some pumpkin sprays, and I love these. It's got the pumpkin, the greenery, some grass, some berries, and it's a neutral pumpkin. So we're going to work in these. We're going to just snip off the stem in its entirety. How long are your loops? So Cindy, these loops are about 3.5 to 4 inches. But 3.5 to 4 inch loops is going to look different depending on the width of the ribbon. So if you're dealing with 7/8 like this, you're going to need a lot more of them. If you're dealing with 1.5 inch, it's going to look a little bit more robust. 2.5 inch is going to look more full, and 4 inch, if we had that many loops, we could probably reduce that to maybe 3 loops on each side, to be honest. But we're going to work in 3 of these pumpkin sprays now, and show some hearts. What do you guys think of this? Donna hasn't seen a tree topper either. Yes. So I think we'll save that for the last Monday next month, which will be a lot of fun. Here is our second one.
And when I do my live, Nick, I'll do a tree topper, which will be probably the second Monday of September.
Awesome. And here is our third and final pumpkin. See that pumpkin on the right-hand side right here is kind of tucked in a little bit. You don't need the pumpkins to be all surface level and showy. Sometimes nestled in a little bit creates a really pretty illusion as well. So just pulling that grass to the side a little bit, fluffing the eucalyptus it comes with, and then snipping that stem again. So look, you guys, one bow, one bush of greenery, and 3 pumpkin sprays, and this is what we created. So easy. So how many of you guys think you can do this? It better be all of you. What do you think, Alex? Every one of them watching can easily do this.
Absolutely.
So now, I'm wondering if I should work in a little bit more greenery. What do you think? What do you guys think? Everybody take a vote. Let me know. This one has a little bit more of an orangey tone. What do you guys think?
Congratulations to Darlena Marie from West Virginia.
Congratulations, Darlena.
Congratulations, Darlena. You won yourself a free roll of scrunchie ribbon. So you can go ahead and send a message to Bowdabra directly here on Facebook with your color of choice, red, silver, or gold, and they will have that shipped out to you in the beginning of September.
Yes. And we have time for one more bow. So let's do one more bow instead, because I do want to show you guys some more bows. So we're going to just cut another length of wire. Yes, congratulations. Let's all take a second and congratulate her on winning a free roll. And then next Monday, you guys, if you tune in, 7 p.m. Eastern, you could win a free roll as well. So for the mini Bowdabra, I do choose and encourage you guys to use a thinner gauged ribbon or a thinner fabric ribbon, especially if you're doing a decent amount of loops. So this bow, we're going to do a traditional bow without any tails. So we're going to take our ribbon and we'll do kind of a slow-mo, create our first loop. We're going to pinch, reverse our ribbon so that the non-velvet side is facing forward, give our Bowdabra half a turn, create our next loop, and so on and so forth. So I think with the mini, we should be able to do 5 or 6 loops on either side. Might get a little bit tight, and the large, of course, if you want to add a lot of loops, works best. But for 10, 11 bucks, it's a great travel size Bowdabra or travel size bow maker. Okay, a few more loops. Yes, congrats. Pat loved that wreath just the way it is. So yeah, you can work in as much or as little as you want, and they make great gifts. I know a lot of you guys are in business as well, and something like that would be a great price point to have available, because not everybody wants a super full, crazy, expensive wreath. A lot of people are looking for something simple. All right, so that seems to be the amount I can fit of this kind of thicker velvet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on each side, which is a decent bow. This will absolutely work for most of your grapevine projects. Pull your wires to the middle, pull them through the loop, tie it from behind, several knots to ensure it's not going anywhere. Snip off that wire. And Bowdabra will have these pictures of these bows posted so you guys can see how they look. And that's why we snip off the wire. Other than that, you would attach it to whatever you're attaching it to. And how cute is that? And this would work great. Where would this look really cool, Alex?
On a present.
On a present, that's right.
Yeah.
Add a little hot glue in the back and just stick that right on a present.
So cute.
What is the name of the website to order wire and ribbon again? So you can find everything available at nicksseasonaldecor.com. I believe we're out of stock on the silver wire, but we will have some more in really soon. So I think that wraps it up. Let me show you guys all of the bows we made. You just saw that last one. We created this one. I think this might be my favorite, just from how different it is. So that was just made out of tails. Here is a traditional bow with some long tails using the 50-yard spool. And here is that bow. And here is the wreath. So thank you all so much for watching. I'm Nick Kreticos of Nick's Seasonal Decor. Thank you, Sandy, for having me as a guest. And I will see you all next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Thank you, Nick and Alex.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.